Here we go.
Nice one.
Yeah, you're in the 0000.
Oh, Davos is going to run the event. Go ahead, Davos. AMA, anybody, ask any questions you want of Davos.
Hello, Lisa.
This is a good track for it. To get close and then stare down like this big enormous thing coming in.
Oh my god.
What's going on? Right?
Just teleported.
I'm gonna come in and eat people in the back. Oh, I fell off. Silly me. Silly me. Welcome, everybody. I think I'm megaphoned. Yeah, this is our weekly AMA, right? This is kind of ask any kind of question you want. We call it the Banter-AMA. Yeah, pretty much. It's a fairly relaxed thing. You know, usually what we do is people make their way up the beach towards where the controls are there for the player. If you generally want to line up there, I can answer any questions that you might have. Is pretty much how we do this. And let's see, what can I do? Yeah. You know, until people start to line up, then I pretty much just waffle on to fill time, which I don't mind doing. I enjoy a lot. There's lots to talk about. I think probably the most exciting thing is that we've got 5 Quest 3 giveaways running right now across several different spaces on the platform. So for anybody that's not aware, yeah, there's one in here, right? That's a hint that I've given out. One of the Quest 3 giveaways is hidden in this space. And then there's, I guess, 4 other spaces. Well, 3 other spaces. Oh, I see Iron Wolf is making his way up there. He's going to try and cut me off because I'm giving away too many hints. Sorry, go ahead, Iron Wolf.
Yes, I have probably asked this question before, but I have forgotten.
Okay.
With the release of SDK 2.0, are we going to use another version of Unity, or is it the same version of Unity that we have today?
That's a great question. So right now we are on the same version of Unity. The Unity version hasn't changed, but we have been testing a version of Unity that is Unity 2022 LTS. And the reason we've been testing this is because we'd like to be able to take advantage of optimizations and more features that are available in that newer Unity version. But for us, it's a priority to just make sure, of course, that everything still works, which is always kind of top priority when changing Unity version. But also that all of the worlds still continue to work exactly as they do, right? And that's kind of a big priority for us. We did give it a shot, and we were testing a 2022 version. There were a lot of things were working just perfectly fine, but we found there were some crashes, possibly related to the browser and the video player, or possibly related to a mirror. That's about as far down that road as we got in terms of investigating that. But there's a number of things that we'll likely want to move to Unity 2022 if we're going to want to try to support them. One of those is the Apple Vision Pro. If we're actually going to try and release a version of Banter that can run on that, it has to be Unity 2022 LTS or above to be able to do that. So yeah, it's something that we're definitely going to do. Hopefully it won't have any impact on how things are done and generally how things work. That's definitely the hope, except for we'll be just recommending any new stuff you create to use a new Unity version instead if you want to take advantage of those new features.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you. Great question. Yeah, so yeah, back to giving away hints about the giveaways, right? So I think it's fair to say we did an announcement on Discord. I don't think there's any spoilers required for that. I put a photograph of one of the giveaways. Maybe everybody in the room here is just looking at me going, "What are you talking about? We've already got all these. Tell us more cool things." Well, what I can tell you is that we're starting to kind of ramp things up a little bit now as we go towards a potential release out of beta, right? That's kind of what I'm calling it internally. That would be coming out of early access on Steam, looking towards a store release on Quest, really trying to, push Banter forward. And there's two things that we've been mainly working on to that effort, and that is the new SDK that can make it possible to build actual games, and we want an actual game on the platform as well before we do it, and also the new menu. Right, those are the two largest ticket items there that we're hoping to resolve. And honestly, we're maybe 6 weeks away from being able to roll those out. I think what we'll want to do is try to have some kind of strategy or some more stable solution in place for avatars. So what you might also see by then is some basic version of our new avatar system. I don't know how complete it could be by then, right? But I think what we want to have is a scenario where people can maybe just make their way through different worlds and explore and find avatars in different worlds, and that might be a nice way for new users to be able to explore things. So we're probably going to start to ramp up promotions, and we're experimenting with a number of different things internally to that end. We've been looking at all of the different events that we're running here on Banter and trying to get a sense of what users are actually interested in by doing a bunch of A/B testing on each event, and then running actual marketing campaigns with different artwork and graphics and positioning it differently to try and find, what's the sweet spot for each individual type. And I think for us, that's going to be an ongoing thing, right? We're going to probably always continue to do that. But what it's also going to do in the short to medium term is it's going to help inform where we can start to actually promote things on the platform, right? So some of you may know that how your default home space works on Banter has changed recently, about a week or more ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know how fast time is going now, but what we're planning on doing is using some of the new tools that we've created to be able to help drive traffic into some key events, right? If we can find that connection, that we know there's a subgroup of users that we can reach and that they're interested in a certain topic, right? Let's say that's coming and attending karaoke events, or just coming to mingle and chill just to hang out with people. The hope is that we'll be able to dynamically route new users into certain events, and we'll be able to coincide that with marketing and promotion campaigns we're running for those events, right? So the key being there that we'll be able to kind of find people who are interested in those things and then make it as easy as possible for those users to get straight to those things, right? And between myself and Aline and Faye and Yunji, who's just joined us, we're going to be continuing to kind of evolve our understanding and creating that feedback loop in terms of what we're doing with promoting the platform going forward, right? And then as soon as we're ramping up towards store, it's going to be about sort of really putting the pedal to the metal on all fronts in that regard. So I'm looking forward to seeing a new fresh set of users coming into Banter, hopefully sticking around, hopefully not dealing with a lot of the clunky issues people are facing when it comes to onboarding in general. Oh, I see. Have I been ignoring people?
Someone hold their
Hey,
hand. They look
Poppy, how you
lost.
doing? I'm going to assume you just landed in there and you don't have a question. I see Mayellen there kind of has his hand up a little bit. Maybe you've got a question? You okay there? No. Maybe your tracking has just gone out of whack. Maybe that's all that it is.
That's my sword pen.
Gotcha. Well, once again, I'll remind you, right? So this is the Ask Me Anything, the AMA, the Banter-AMA, as we call it. We do this once a week. And typically what you would do is walk up the beach towards the controls line up there. If you've got a question about anything to do with banter or any topic, in fact, I'll be happy to give you an answer as best I can. But yeah, make your way up the beach. I'll be more than happy to
Slickston
answer your
has
question.
joined the space.
Great. Go ahead.
Hey.
What if bees? What can I do for
I
you?
was wondering if you have any plans for kind of streamlining the onboarding process for new members, because for some people they've like kind of run into issues like maybe linking their account or kind of getting their head around setting up an avatar.
Yes. Yes.
Is there any
I can
plans
tell
to
you
make that
this is
simpler?
top priority right now. Absolutely
Sweet.
top priority for us. Smoothing out the onboarding is pretty much our entire goal right now as we work towards, like I was talking about there, coming
Alien
out of
decided to join
beta,
us in
coming
the
out of early
simulation.
access, going towards a store release. So we're going to have a whole new menu that's going to make it a lot easier to understand not only how to get connected and get signed in, but why. And, what you can do beyond that, right? Because the next immediate question is, how do I get my avatar? And we're hoping to make that an easy thing to understand as well, right? So, yeah, top priority right now.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thank you. G Deuce, how are you doing?
Yes, hello. So I'm a former alt spacer, and I came back in here yesterday after, hopping in and out of here over the past year or so, and just amazed at the, progress that has been made over this past year. So I was just wondering about like what the platform, what your goals are. Is it just to be social and just have, events like the karaoke and different things, or do you want to have open to having big events here, or just what is the goal of the platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for us, we're not necessarily ruling anything out, but through sort of talking to users, poring over reviews on Steam and on Oculus and other places, and trying to get as much feedback as we
Prox
can,
Side
we've
has entered
kind of
the
identified that people are interested in a number of different things, right? People like to explore worlds, they like to attend events, and they also like to play games. And that third one is a big priority for us right now, is to be able to create those kinds of mini games that you might see in platforms like, say, Rec Room or even in VR chat if you can find them. So yeah, we want to let people have things that they can come and enjoy and explore on a one-off, but then also have things that will bring them back again and again to be able to engage with. So right now we're working on a paintball style game that people will be able to play. And let's see, is he in the room? Yes, he is. I'm just gonna megaphone him there while I put him on the spot. We actually got somebody here who is in the team that ended up very high on the world leaderboard, the global leaderboard for games like Rec Room and Population 1. It's you might know him as Eamon or Eamon at the back there with the big mad afro. So the hope is that we can.
Not on the whole.
You're okay. Yeah, we're putting you on the spot.
I just heard when
boy,
you
Scott.
mentioned there, I was actually on my PC. What are you saying? Oh, where did
Have
it
you
go?
teleported somewhere now? Oh, there
Yep,
you
I
are.
did. What are you saying there?
I was just explaining that as we go into sort of building out games in Banter, that the hope is that we can lean on, people like yourself and your experience with games like Rec Room and Population 1, and try to really, figure out how we can shortcut that process and learn what we should or shouldn't do with building out those kinds of things.
A big thing will be the exploits, figuring out the exploits right off the bat, because that's what people are going to come in and figure out and kind of make it toxic in a way.
Yeah.
If you don't
Agreed.
get on top of that right away, you'll turn it into a mess.
Kalima arrived.
So
Well, there you go. Straight
I'm
away.
more than happy to help with that.
Yeah, this is the sort of stuff I guess we're thinking about internally. But I think for us, having the ability to create amazing and beautiful worlds, ones that perform really really well, that's a big priority for us. That we really try and
Mhm.
encourage that within our communities so that things can run well on Quest. Right, that's a big priority for us.
Mhm.
And yeah, to be able to let people have custom avatars, that's also something we're pretty passionate about, and we want to
Mhm.
explore and expand that capability. Not to go as crazy as VR chat. We're going to make
Mhm.
sure
Oh
that people
yeah.
can't create like crasher avatars, right? We don't want people to be able to
Mhm.
do that, but we want people to be able to create mad
Impending Doom
avatars,
is here for
like
cuddles
some of
and
the ones
milk
we
and is all
see
out of
all the time
cuddles.
on here. Like half the people
Mhm.
who are wearing wings. That's something that
Mhm.
is important to some people. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of the team, including myself, were either active users or previously worked with the Altspace team.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of that that's kind of embedded in what we're doing as well. And
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell, and it's great. I'm happy to see it. Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Eileen has glitched into the Matrix.
Oh boy, I can't megaphone you. Neither can you,
Hey,
Faye,
I
right?
have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
No, I can't. Weird.
Yeah, don't
Oh
worry.
yeah, neither can I.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. More than happy to answer your question.
Do you guys have a plans to integrate monetization for developers who can just integrate their own new system into the world, and they can monetize through maybe Sidequest, and users can give a feedback whether it's good or bad product, and just make a market that will be just easy to monetize and test it out in this new metaverse world.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think our goals are kind of focused on trying to kind of establish the base infrastructure right now, rather than focus on uh, how we can generate revenue, let's say. But I think we're keeping things as open as possible so that creators will have the opportunity to be able to monetize their content in future. And yeah, I mean, I'll give you some examples of some things we've discussed internally that might help towards that end, right? So first of all, I'll tell you one thing, a secret, right? So any of you who are familiar with the Spaces system on the Sidequest website, where you would go and verify your space, and most recently you can now use our hosting option to upload your world straight in through that. You can manage your mods, all that kind of stuff. Believe it or not, at one point there was a full-blown crowdfunding style donation system built into that, which basically does almost exactly what you're describing. As I stand here today, most of the infrastructure is still there, and it just needs to be enabled on the front end. And we had a whole system set up where it would do, instant payments out to creators, taking a tiny share on our end, and then instantly paying out people based on their donations. So it's definitely something we've thought about, given that we've actually built most of that system, and it already exists. But some other things we've been talking about most recently is trying to leverage other existing platforms like Patreon or Coffee, or anything that could
Mickey
allow
has
you
joined the
to
space.
give people, or maybe even Discord, right? Discord is starting to lean into this crowdfunding model as well. But being able to give your members or people who join your space some special privilege if they support you, right? Supporters. And that could range from anything from here's your name on a board, which is pretty common for these kind of situations, to
Oh
here's a
God, not
special icon
again.
above your
Mental
head, or
germ
a
is wanted
special
in several
items you
other
have access
spaces.
to, or
Wait,
VIP
what's
areas
this?
within the
It's
space, right? I mean,
IFBES with a steel
that's
chair.
kind of
A
up to
real
you
human
at that
actually
point
joined
as
the
to how you'd
space.
like to,
Now everyone act like a human.
you know, I guess split that up or create that sort of a separation, let's say. But there's other things we've been thinking about as well. So on SideQuest, there's SideQuest points. You earn them for generally activity, and you can use them to enter giveaways on SideQuest. We had thought that maybe there would be a cool way in future where we could allow creators and worlds to expend those points for users, right? Giving them some kind of new value where you could allow users to kind of buy things. Although those are not worth anything. They're not actually, they don't have any monetary value, let's say. But that would allow for you to have, maybe create like a, you know, an ecosystem or a marketplace as such within your space, not necessarily being external. But I think the most important thing about Banter
Turquoise
is
has
that
joined the space.
it's built around a browser. There's an integrated browser built into the game, and every world you visit is just a web page, right? A certain web address. And one of the great benefits of that is that you can lean on that existing open web and browser stack to be able to build monetized experiences exactly like you do on the internet. I'll say there's one thing I have specifically not mentioned anything about, and I'll say that is on purpose, and that is crypto-related monetization. As far as the overarching platform is concerned, I don't believe we're ever going to implement any platform-level crypto integration into the app. I can say that right now for sure. That is definitely not going to happen at the platform level. Now, whether there's some kind of integration that people build into their own spaces because it's the open web, truly anything is possible.
Divine
We wouldn't
Slayer 420
prevent that
has
or
joined.
block that in
Quick,
any way,
hide your
but it's not
avatars.
something that we would build in a platform level integration for ever in the future, right? As far as we're concerned, crypto itself is just too risky, too volatile to have such an integrated link into the core of the application. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thanks for explaining, Michael, the situation.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks, that's a great question. Yeah, anybody else? Anyone who has any questions at all? What I've resorted to doing sometimes, I just call on random people, ask them random questions. So to that end, Razor Smiles, how are you doing? What did you have for breakfast?
Oh, I had this delicious dim sum that I put in my air fryer, and I had broccoli with it.
Lovely.
It's like my my birthday brunch.
Let's all take this opportunity to wish Razor a happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Everybody,
Happy
jump up and down
birthday
to demonstrate your appreciation for Razor and all she does.
Thank you.
Razor runs Goth Night here once a week, possibly twice. Am I right in thinking it's sometimes twice a week?
Yep.
Yeah, twice.
So-
It's yes. Sorry. It's twice on Thursdays, from 1 to 3 p.m. PST and 6 to 8 p.m. PST, and then on Fridays I read Edgar Allan Poe in the Graveyard. And I've been doing the spectral synthesis event, but we're gonna move that to a different time. And I was thinking about doing some sort of like dancercise kind of event where people dance
Ooh.
to industrial music and learn industrial dance. Which is kind of like killing two birds with one stone kind of thing, because, I'd like to learn that kind of dance too, so yay.
That sounds great. Bob's Just Bobbing that was on earlier tonight. That kind of went
Yeah.
from the medieval tavern space where it was honestly pretty cool, but we've moved it over into Wolf's Den, where it's kind of like this, really close quarters nightclub that maybe you might have visited in your youth. Like the bowling carpet that's all crazy colors and neon and all that kind of stuff, and then the
yeah.
lowered dance floor in the middle and everybody gathering around the outside. And honestly, if you've ever been to that in your youth and you remember that, it gives you those nostalgia vibes right away. And it's very reminiscent of Goth Night, right? Because it's kind of a similar size or whatever, except for I think mainly just the difference is that it's got a raised spectator area around the outside. But if you were to tank a beer or two and then jump into one of those sessions, I'm sure you could do something amazing. And I don't know how whatever keto or whatever your diet is, but I'm sure you could have a lot of fun, and I'm sure you could also have a lot of great exercise at the same time, right? So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Thank you, Razor, and happy birthday again.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see. Son of Joker. Apologies for the delay.
Howdy.
How are you doing? What can I?
I'm
what
doing
can I do
good,
for you
man.
today?
I'm sorry I haven't been into the Q&As for a good moment of time.
That's okay.
Recently, I had death in the family, so I'm planning.
Sorry to
I
hear
have
that.
to pack. I had to pack like 7 different occasions, switch bags 6 different times. So
Sorry
like
about that.
right now it's just a little hectic. I just had a question about the I didn't hear too much about the SDK 2. So my question was for you about with the SDK 2, what more possibilities would come with the new update to the SDK?
What more possibilities? That's kind of a difficult one to answer because the SDK, it's a development kit or a toolkit, if you will, and it kind of gives you the tools to create almost anything. So to describe all of those things that you could create could take a long time. But I think a good way to think about it is that a lot of what we're exposing is native underlying functionality within Unity, right? So a lot of this has been sort of battle tested, I guess, to some degree, when it comes to people being familiar with that and being able to like build gamified experiences using those kinds of interfaces. So for us, that's one aspect to it. So it's almost anything you can think of that Unity can do. That's something that we can make SDK v2 do. Now, what I
Ellie
should
is here for
probably
cuddles
say
and
is
milk
that
and is all out
we
of
have been
cuddles.
somewhat conservative with the things that we've already exposed through SDK v2, and that was intentional, in fact, because we want that to be more of an ongoing conversation with the community. We want the community to tell us what they need and what they want, and then we'll add those things in. That process should be fairly routine and fairly simple, especially if it's underlying components and elements of the Unity API that they want us to expose. Now, on top of that, there's the Banter flavored elements of that too, right? Which is stuff that's specific to Banter that isn't necessarily specific to Unity. And that could be, I guess that could be a number of different things. Let me see if I can think of something specifically. Maybe a network synced object, right? That's something that's specific to Banter, but not necessarily specific to Unity. But the truth is, we hope this is going to be a very mature environment to be able to build something, and something that you can build almost to a really high scale with the least amount of kind of cumbersome workflow, the smoothest that you possibly can. And it will support JavaScript is basically going to be the primary scripting language that we'll support, but also on top of that, Unity visual scripting, right? So that's maybe something that you could take a look at in advance of that coming out, is that you could check out what's possible with Unity visual scripting. Spoiler alert, a lot. It's like the Unity scripts we have already, but on steroids, because you can create all sorts of logic within scripting graphs and do all that kind of stuff, right? On the other side, the whole JavaScript side, for anybody here who is familiar with that, you can expect that to work much like any typical JavaScript, toolchain workflows would work, right? You can use whatever, precompiled, you can use TypeScript, you can use libraries, you can use pretty much whatever you want that's available on the web and integrate that into your world, right? So yeah, that's going to be the biggest element of SDK v2 is that we've sort of taken the really clunky mess that is SDK v1 that you could almost kind of achieve some of these things in, and we've turned it into something that's really geared towards building these kinds of things, and hopefully should stand the test of time and will allow us to continue to extend on it and build upon it as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I
Okay,
hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that answered more of it because I'm learning how to build with Blender and Unity right now, and I'm learning
Gotcha.
TypeScript with the brand I'm representing as well. So that's why
Awesome.
I'm like, I was asking for not just for me, but the team that will be eventually coming to promote Banter even more as well.
Yes. Well, I mean, the hope there is that the last thing we want to do is invent a whole new thing that you kind of have to learn from scratch, something that's specific to Banter. So what will be great about the ways we're doing things is that not only will you have the resources that we make available to help you get started, there's like 25 years of the internet's worth of resources to help you get started with JavaScript and TypeScript. And then, Unity visual scripting, there's however many years that's existed, let's say, worth of footprint on the internet of resources, tutorials, guides, all sorts of things. So rather than have to start from scratch, you'll find that you'll be able to come into something that's a lot more mature and a lot more evolved than that.
Okay. I really do appreciate that, Shane, and I just was curious about that. So it's good to hear it. Thank you, Shane.
Yeah, no problem. Maybe I'll top that off with we put out an April Fool's. Some of you might be familiar. We pretended like we were going to make up our own language and we called it Bullscript. So if you want to check out Bullscript, we made a whole website. We got some celebrities involved to do some cameo endorsements of Bullscript. If any of you have ever seen, let's see, The Orville or American Dad or Parks and Recreation, right? If you're familiar with those shows, you'll recognize the people that we did it with. But yeah, look up Bullscript. Truth is, it's a lie. It's just a stab at Udon, and VR Chat, and Trimesh at Horizons. A fun little stab, let's say. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for the question.
Thank you, Shane.
Yeah, no problem. I'll remind everybody that's here, if you've joined late, this is Banter AMA, or Banter-AMA as we like to call it. Once a week we do this. Right now, at the minute, we're running giveaways. There are 5 quest giveaways hidden throughout the platform. Spoiler, one of them is in this room, and there's a bunch of other hints. I'm sure you can ask people. I'm sure you've all already found them, and this is all just fallen on deaf ears, right? But yeah, if anybody has any questions and they want to ask me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Just make your way up the beach there to the top, and I'll answer any questions you like. It's interesting. I think it could be really interesting, Faye, if we were to evolve this event to include yourself and Yunji in the AMA piece in the future as well. I was actually thinking this could be really cool, right? Just because you guys have got so much experience in this industry, and you've kind of seen this whole thing evolve from every different side. So I would be interested to hear your insights on, I'm sure, many different topics. So maybe there's an opportunity for you guys to either be involved, or we do alternating things or something in future, if you guys are up for that. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
So down for that. I'm so excited about that. And also, hi everybody.
Nice.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
Yay, Yunji!
Yeah, I mean, just to, so for anybody who's unaware, we've got Faye and Yunji here who've been veterans of the industry, right? Both of which have been in this social VR game for pretty much the guts of 10 years, if not longer. And we're talking going back to DK2 days, really early VR, and even before that, Second Life, this whole sort of gig. Sorry, Divine, I see you there. I've already megaphoned you. Yeah, what can I do you for? Awesome.
Sorry. I was gonna mess with you and say, did you know that there was a click me button in the AFK gel? But I actually do have a question. But yeah.
Nice. But there is.
The people that know, the people that know what I'm talking about know. Anyways, I'm not sure if you've already went over this because I just got back. My son had therapy, so I just got back. But anyways, are we gonna get some kind of way to text people in here? Like, I know you can go to the website. But is there any way we're gonna get something like we can actually text in the actual app per se?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, in a nutshell, yes, absolutely. You'll have in-game instant message you can send to your friends, whether they're online or offline. You can have that ability to ping them immediately or send them a message asynchronously. That's definitely something that we want to include. The whole menu is going to change. Some of you at some point might have seen some prototype Figma designs that we were kind of sharing around, but we've been working on that now for a good few months, and hopefully that's going to come out soon, and that'll make it a lot easier for us to expand the menu, add new things, and include messaging in that. So yeah, it's definitely something we want to add in. Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you. Scottish Jesus. Go ahead. It's going great.
That's good. Alright, so this question's probably already been answered in the past, but I just haven't been here for it. Will full body tracking or face tracking ever be in this game?
Yes, and yes. All of the above. I think in terms of priority, we're probably looking at full body first, likely hand tracking then after that, and then we'll sort of look at what the landscape is in terms of what different sensors are available for different things. But one thing that we are planning to do is to jump straight onto that OSC bandwagon and be able to open that up as much as we can. So the truth is, honestly, that might allow for the community to enable more sensors than we initially planned for, right? So, but our priority is going to be, first of all, adding support for OSC, so that people on Quest might be able to use things like Slime and other trackers directly in a standalone environment. Then we were looking at whether we would add native support for Quest's own body tracking with the leg estimation and the waist tracking, and also native support for Vive trackers on PC and PC VR, right? What we're hoping is that maybe we can put some energy there into creating an OSC interface for those things, so that there can be a more generic thing that maybe we can even make available for other people. But if not, then like I say, we'll just implement native support for those two specifics.
All right. Yep. Thank you. That's cool.
Yeah, no problem at all. Barry, you maybe accidentally Spider-Man there. Did you have a question? I saw you were close to the front.
No, I came in out there in the lake, and lo and behold, here I am. Sorry.
Gotcha. No
I
problem.
got here late.
Well, I've got you on megaphone now, so if you do have a question, now is the time, or I can go back to waffling if you prefer.
No, I guess my interest in banter is around exceeding some of my expectations in other platforms, and so I'm seeing that happening. Um, and I guess I'm overly excited for a man of my age. How's that?
Ah, well, that sounds pretty great. Well, maybe I can speak to that a little. I think for us here on Banter, you can probably take it as a signal. You'll see me and my staff, we will all spend time on Banter, often in our own personal time. That's a good signal that what we're doing is something that's born from
Barney is here
passion
for cuddles
for
and milk and is
what
all
it
out
is
of
that we're
cuddles.
creating, right? And I remember in the past hearing through news reports that Meta had to explicitly ask their staff to use Horizon more.
Right.
That's something that we won't do, but we'll hope that we can convince our staff that it's something fun and interesting that they want to get on board with. And honestly, that's something that we have been doing internally. A number of our staff are just making their way on here in their own time, often very late at night. And spending time on here and enjoying that, right? And you'll find me on here as much as I can be, honestly. The only time you won't see me on here is when I'm really heavily buried in working on something for the platform. But I'll be missing it. You can be assured of that. And as soon as I'm free again, you'll find me straight back on here. And I think that is something that doesn't really happen on a lot of the other platforms, right? And it's something that I plan to hold on to as long as I can, so that we can kind of be have a finger on the pulse in that sense, and be close to the users and what people want, and listen to people, and then do those things, right? The final part of that equation. But yeah, I appreciate your sentiment.
Is there any concern about App Lab being swallowed up by Horizons?
That is something I cannot discuss, unfortunately, at this time. We're still heavily in the process of working on that internally. We're in discussions with several partners, and unfortunately under non-disclosure agreements. So I can't speak to you specifically about that right now. But what I can say, if you can stay tuned, we will have an official announcement on that very soon.
Perfect. Yeah. I appreciate the fact that you are willing to listen to these kinds of questions, whether you're able to answer them or not. So
yeah, honestly, if it was my choice, everything would be open and I'd be able to have a frank conversation with all of you guys, right? But we're internal discussions with Meta. I could tell you that I was on the phone the day of the announcement with Chris Pruitt. Pretty quickly after all the news broke, right? And yeah, we discussed a lot of different things that relate to that. And I guess without going into detail, what I can tell you is that as far as it stands, Sidequest providing that discovery layer and that early access layer for developers to really engage with their communities in those early days is something that won't be going away anytime soon, based on what Meta have explicitly told us. But like I say, if you can hang fire with us for a little bit longer, we're just trying to make sure that we have everything, all of our ducks in a row, and then we'll be able to put out more information about that, right? So, yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no problem at all. I see Scottish Jesus, you were edging your way towards the front again. Have you got another question for me?
Yes, I was wondering,
glitched into
with
the matrix.
either Banter or Sidequest, what's like your biggest struggle with the whole thing? Is there like any pieces of the puzzle missing or anything like that?
The digital
That's a good question. I mean, as with any sort of technology or platform, let's say, that you're trying to scale and grow, there's often a lot of challenges in all directions, right? How do you appeal to an audience? How do you ensure that you're taking feedback on board and growing and evolving in a way the audience is going to like?
Janky Kong just stumbled into our virtual realm.
God knows the
hand,
sorts of
they
challenges
look
that we're
lost.
facing internally, let's say, when it comes to a more technical side of things, probably is mostly centered around third parties and how they're working and how they're integrated into our app. Like one example I'll give you is that right now we're in the process of the very early stage of gathering feedback and planning to build out a new avatar system, because we've unfortunately been having a number of problems with Ready Player Me's integration now for a while. So what we want to do is to remove that dependency from a third party, so that rather than having to deal with, their outages compounded on top of our outages, we can only generally worry about our own outages, and that way we can kind of give people a more kind of stable
Someone hold their hand.
experience.
They look lost.
All right. Thank you.
But yeah, thanks for the question.
Of course.
Okay, we've got Technical Aqua, brand new user, jumping around, doing all sorts of Spider-Manning. Let's put them on the spot. How are you doing there, Technical Aqua? Everybody in the room can hear you. Good. Can I ask, are you old enough to use this? You've got to be at least 10 years old to use this platform.
Yeah, I'm like 13.
Oh, damn, so close. Oh, no. Okay, well, welcome, and please enjoy. And yeah, if you need any help, just ask.
Thanks.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else to waffle about now.
What did you have for supper last night?
I had a Caesar salad. Yeah. Lots of Caesar sauce. Not healthy in the slightest. So.
Oh, but that's the best kind.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you're telling yourself that it's something better than what it is. But yeah, I mean, maybe it is, right?
It's salad. Just stick.
It's salad. That's it.
I had salad.
It's salad
That's
at the end of the
healthy.
day.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Impending doom
But
arrived.
what's your favorite kind of salad?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I generally just go for whatever mixed kind of leaf and rockets, right? I love rockets, so I like to sort of sprinkle a bit more of that on top.
Those are good.
Hey, Proxide. How are you
Hey,
doing?
what's up? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. So I know we're all having fun with the name tags in here and whatnot. But I'm curious as to like your thoughts about having actual unique display names for people,
Unique
so that you don't
display
have people
names.
people changing their names to other people's names and appearing like they are the same person.
Yes. No, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've dealt with before, when certain people have decided they enjoy doing that for whatever reason, spending a lot of time pretending to be other people. And yeah, certainly it can make you feel uncomfortable, and in some cases it can make other people feel uncomfortable, especially if they were like impersonating staff and trying to make people believe that they were staff. So, I mean, it's interesting. Right now, we lean on the user system for Sidequest, right? Which obviously makes sense, because Banter is a game by Sidequest.
Technical Aqua
So
decided to join
the way
us in
that's
the
built is that
simulation.
it's email address based. When you sign in, it's not a unique username. It's an email address. But that's not to say that we couldn't potentially add the option for a username in future. If this is something that
Patches
I guess enough
406
people are
just
interested
crossed
in,
the
if anybody
digital
else agrees that that would be something that they want to be able to secure some kind of unique display name, even if it was that you have your, like we have right now, you have your fancy decorated display
Chloe
name, and then
decided to
when you
join
click
us
on
in
your
the
name tag,
simulation.
that becomes your actual unique display name. So at least you'd be able to
Right.
click on somebody and verify them that they are who they are, right? But yeah, I mean, it's certainly something we could add. And it
I can
wouldn't
see how it can be
necessarily
complicated with pre-existing accounts or names, because then you would have to ask everyone to change it, right?
It's not necessarily change it, right? We could just augment and add that as an additional option on top, right? So it's like, you can sign in with your username or your email address, and then that field becomes both, basically. So it's certainly not out of the realms of possibility. And yeah, I mean, there's a good bit of onboarding there that would need to be checked, and that's obviously fairly complicated when it comes to the whole all the single sign-on and the email verification, all that kind of stuff. But still, certainly not
Right.
impossible.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, maybe if you wanted to dump that into the ideas in the Discord,
Ideas?
if you don't mind, just so that it's there.
Yeah.
If just in case. I'm nowhere near a computer, so I haven't been able to write it down. I guess it's on the stream, right? We've got it on the stream, but maybe dump it in there.
All right, I
just
can
so
put
we
it in
don't
there. It's no
forget.
problem.
Appreciate it.
No worries. Thank
you. Awesome. Right, what was I waffling about before? Salad or something?
Talking about
Yeah.
your favorite salads.
Yeah. Well, look, let's see. We've got about 10 minutes left, so I guess until somebody else has a question, I'll probably talk a little bit more about the avatars, right? What we're going to do for the next 4 weeks. Oh, Aline has a question. Oh, no.
When can we replace the ropes?
When can you replace the ropes? Rope replacements are coming in 2025, folks. Okay, so right now, your account has got your rope color hard-coded into it. You cannot change it unless you abandon your whole account, all your
Trouble
friends,
1911
all your
is here
messages,
to kiss
everything
snowy
you've ever
butt
made.
cheeks.
You've got to abandon that if you want to get a different rope color. But in 2025, we're going to introduce Banter Plus, and it's going to be this absolute amazing setup that's going to give you the ability, first and foremost, to change your rope color, plus more on top of that as well. Other things, I'm sure, that we'll figure out, right? But yeah, I don't know. To be honest, your rope color is dynamically generated based on your user ID, right? Mine is 1, which just so happens to be the kind of shade of green I would imagine I would enjoy smoking, which fits, right? That's really, that works for me. But yeah, that's where your rope color comes from, and also your soul color, right? Which, for anyone who's not aware, is the color that your avatar highlights whenever you talk. I didn't come up with that name. I don't know who came up with it. I thought it was it K-Tux, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful term, I think, to have coined as to what exactly that is. But yeah, I mean, in the future, who knows? There may be a way for you to be able to get some additional cosmetic benefits, maybe even some higher fidelity avatar stuff, possibly. It's hard to say, but certainly being able to customize things like your rope color, your soul color, those kind of things are definitely on that list, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I'm stuck with the pink.
You love it. Don't lie. It's not pink, it's salmon. Yeah. But anyway, as I was saying about the avatars, right? So for the next at least 4 weeks, we're going to alternate every week. It'll be space makers and then avatar makers. Typically, we do space makers like a Q&A like this, where it's all sort of directed questions at me, but I'm actually going to probably do the avatar makers slightly differently, where it's more like, let's say, our tech waffle, where it's just a conversation between us all, and I'm not going to be necessarily a megaphone, but anybody can just speak up, open forum style. That's basically our plan, is to try and gather as much information, as much feedback and ideas from, mostly, I guess, the people who are really actively creating avatars right now, or those who are interested in getting involved in that, right? We want to know, what are the pain points we're currently experiencing? What are the things we really wish we had? And yeah, what are some other blue sky ideas that we could explore together? And yeah, that's what the Avatar Makers is going to be about for the next several weeks. And yeah, then we can start to kind of getting into prioritizing, collating all that feedback together,
Has joined the space.
and yeah, then being able to prioritize that, right? Let's see, okay, when are we going to do them? What are we going to do first? And just jump in, kind of go from there. So let's see. I'm going to do like I did before. I'm going to call on somebody and put them on the spot and ask them a random question. So, Gooch Monkey, you're live to the room. Tell me, what's the origin of the name?
I was young when I picked it. and I've just never changed it. So I picked it, probably
Gotcha.
12 years ago.
Okay. That's exciting. And you don't want to share
That's
what was
about
going through your mind at the time because you were young, you were
I'm-
juvenile. And it
I'm
could have
not
been
sure.
something-
Maybe gooch was just a word that interests me then. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's appreciate that. Okay, well, look, I think it's worth talking about the next event, which is going to be starting in 4 minutes. It's actually a new event we're experimenting. Faye, I'm sure you're going to be jumping in there to check that everything is working okay. But we're
Yep.
working with some comedy groups who are also established on Horizons, and they're this week doing a UK Finest Ladies stream inside Banter directly from Horizons, right? So Can't go, yeah, exactly. So I definitely encourage you all to jump in there, have a blast, watch the stream, hang out, do whatever you want to do. I mean, that's it. I feel like I'm almost all out of waffle. Let me see, what can I waffle about? I don't know. Let's call on Yunji. Why not? Yunji, tell us something insightful from all your years of experience.
Something insightful.
Yeah.
No matter where you are, there you are. No, I'm kidding.
It is.
I love it. I mean, it's
What
true.
it Which way is up when you're upside down? Am I right?
Yeah. No, gosh, something insightful. Well, I don't know. Sometimes, you go through life and sometimes you might feel really alone. But Social XR will quickly show you just how not alone you actually are. And if you take the time to really ask and understand, what a person's life is like and just really get to know them and make it less about yourself, you might be surprised to see just how many friends you could easily make in a Social XR space. But the other thing too is statistically speaking, 50% of people are basically lonely in this world. And so, if there are two people, right, and one person is lonely, what's going on with the other guy, right? So, as a result, if you are in a situation where you're like, I feel isolated, I don't know who to talk with, I don't know who to hang out with, you need to put yourself out there, because I guarantee you that someone else is also looking for a person just like you. Someone else is looking for somebody else to reach out to them just like you might be. So make the first move and surprise yourself. Take the first step. That's my insight.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
Love it.
Very true.
Absolutely love it. Oh, I love it so much. I fell off the thing.
But I am still learning the controls in here.
Delicious
Yeah, me
science
too,
has
clearly,
joined
right?
the space.
I'll follow up to that. We actually have a great support network kind of community on here, right? So for anybody who's interested in that, on Sunday nights, particularly on Banter, starts out after Banter highlights with anxiety support, peer support group, then after that, neuro chat, then after that. And then I believe there's events also now started. Maybe you can help me on that one, Faye, on Monday.
Yes.
In a similar fashion as well. So there's loads of
There's
stuff
all
there to just jump in
sorts.
and talk to people, right? And God knows the last sort of 5 years have been pretty fucked, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of us that will have been affected by that, and that's we try to kind of put out a sort of we try to put out this sort of this bravado,
Sound
let's
fun
say, with
Joker
Banter,
just
that it's
crossed
all
the
a joke
digital
and we're all having
threshold.
fun. But the truth is, when you get behind the scenes, it's actually
Meta voice
it's a
just
safe
crossed the
space,
digital
right, for
threshold.
people to come to and be able to have that place where they can kind of get away from all the other harsh stuff, whether that's in reality or on other platforms or whatever it is, right? We have a soft, gooey interior. So
Yes.
yeah,
A soft
if
middle.
if you want to meet people, there's loads of ways to meet people on Banter. That's first and foremost what we're about.
I'll say one thing. This helps me out my depression because I lost my brother to cancer. And
That's
being in
awesome.
here
Is
with
it-
everybody, like, I mean, like you communicate with everybody in here, and it helps, you know.
Yeah,
It does.
I totally agree. Yeah, those kinds of events are kind of perfect for that, really, for people to kind of have that place where you can talk about that freely, and you know that you're in a, surrounded by a group of people that are going to
Yeah.
listen and that might even understand, and might be able to give you some insight into their experience with that too, right? And
Yeah.
the more you share that, I think anyway, the more that can kind of help, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That's a great thing, and will be always a thing that we try
Babu is
to
here.
yeah,
And
I
I can
guess
say-
nurture
and I
and
can s-
protect
yeah.
here on Banter.
I can say one thing: you did a good job
here.
doing this. I mean, it's pretty nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Well, if
welcome.
you like it now, we've got loads of big plans, so yeah, keep an eye on it there. Trouble, I see you're in the middle. Do you have a question? We are a little bit over time. I know Shoseki is going to want to close off
no
the stream
question,
soon, but
no question at all. Well, I'm Trouble 1911. I'm one of the co-founders of the Comco Theater. I'm a CFO of Comco Theater, and I'm just here to support in Banter. This is my second or third time in here. I just wanted to check it out being here. So
awesome.
This is cool.
Awesome.
Well,
All
you're
right.
welcome. You're more than welcome.
Meta Voice has joined.
And yeah, on that
find your
note,
avatars.
yeah, we've now got
Let's head
the
out.
next event, which is starting. So as we usually do, feel free
Some
to
portals.
start slamming some portals down there, folks. So
Let's
everybody
head to
can
the
jump
theater,
in.
everybody. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Let's go, Comco.
Here's a
I'm going to
portal
jump
for
in for a
this
few
side
minutes
of the room.
and see what it's
All
like
right.
myself.
Technical.